Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this emergency meeting of the City Commission for this Tuesday, March the 17th at 9 a.m. I'm assuming that we're on cable, and you'll notice that we are sitting in a much different arrangement than we have in the past due to the unusual set of circumstances that we face. So I welcome all, and I call us to order. And if you will indulge me, I would like to read each of these ordinances verbatim so that the content is clear to the public. This is the reading of ordinance number 1949. This is an ordinance supplementing Chapter 2 with regard to administration, Article 1 in general of the City of Danville Code of Ordinances, with the new section being Section 2 through 5, to officially designate the city manager as the mayor's designee for the exercise of emergency powers during a declared state of emergency. Whereas on March 13th, 2020, President Donald J. Trump declared a national state of emergency in response to the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas on March the 6th, 2020, Governor Andy Beshear declared a state of emergency in Kentucky in response to the first documented case of the novel coronavirus, COVID-19. And whereas COVID-19 is a respiratory disease that can result in serious illness or death and can easily spread from person to person, whereas the emergency response of the City of Danville must be deployed rapidly to protect the health, safety, and welfare of citizens, and whereas KRS 39A.100, subsection 2, authorizes the mayor to designate an individual by ordinance to declare a state of emergency during a public health emergency or other catastrophe in order to exercise emergency powers subject to the orders of the governor. And whereas KRS 39B.070 confers additional powers on a mayor or the mayor's designee after the declaration of an emergency to make sure a city can adequately respond to the emergency at hand. And whereas the emergency powers enumerated in KRS 39A.100, subset 2, and KRS 39B.070 are administrative and should be exercised by the city manager under the city manager form of government as outlined in KRS 89A.150. And whereas it is critical to coordinate with emergency management to efficiently and effectively provide for the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens and work in conjunction with the instructions of the Boyle County Health Department and Kentucky Department for Public Health. And whereas the Board of Commissioners deems it necessary and proper to establish by ordinance that the city manager is the mayor's proper designee under the city manager form of government to exercise emergency powers under KRS 39A.100, KRS 39B.070, and any other applicable statute. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the Board of Commissioners of the City of Danville, Kentucky as follows. Section 1. For the reasons set forth above, an emergency is hereby declared to exist to combat the novel coronavirus, COVID-19 pandemic, which is a respiratory disease that can result in serious illness or death and can spread easily, which is consistent with the declared state of emergency declared by the United States, by the President of the United States and Governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. In Section 2, there shall be added a new section of Chapter 2, subsection Administration, Article 1, subsection In General, of the City of Danville Code of Ordinances, which shall read as follows. Section 2 through 5, emergency powers to be exercised by city manager. The city manager is specifically designated and authorized to declare a catastrophe or state of emergency as the mayor's designee under KRS 39A.100 and is thereafter designated to exercise any emergency powers authorized by KRS 39A.100, KRS 39B.070, and any other applicable statute under state law. Section 3. The provisions of this ordinance are severable. If any section, sentence, clause, or section of this ordinance, or the application thereof to any particular case, is for any reason found to be unconstitutional or invalid, such unconstitutionality or invalidity shall not affect or repeal any of the remaining ordinances, sentences, clauses, or sections or part of this ordinance. Section 4. As an emergency ordinance, the provisions of this ordinance shall become effective immediately upon the adoption by a vote of 2/3 or more of the legislative body as allowed by KRS 83A.060 subsection 7. The city clerk is hereby directed to publish this ordinance within 10 days of enactment in the Danville Advocate Messenger of Danville, Kentucky, pursuant to KRS 83A.060 subsection 7. Given emergency first and only reading and passed March 17, 2020, publication within 10 days of enactment pursuant to KRS 83A.060 subsection 7. Do I hear a motion for said ordinance?
I move that we approve the first and only reading of ordinance number 1949.
Thank you, Commissioner Cottle. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Terry. Discussion.
I'd just like to ask the city attorney to, in layman's term, explain all that you just read.
It can simply be stated that the Kentucky law provides that in the declaration of emergency, a mayor is equipped with certain emergency powers, but the statute says mayor for all forms of government or the mayor's designee. So in our form of government, it should be the city manager who takes those, I would say, extra administrative roles, and so this allows that to transpire, to be in compliance with the statute.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Rick?
And Mr. Milliron, you're willing to accept this responsibility?
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? Chair will call the question. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries.
We don't
We
have
need
to
a
roll
roll
call
call.
that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, roll
Okay.
call. Thank you.
Commissioner Atkins,
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Paris.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Saris,
Yes.
Commissioner Terry,
Yes.
Commissioner Cottle.
Yes, ma'am.
I should clarify that the next item on the agenda, being the municipal order, is one in which can assist the city manager in the event that a signature is in fact required on another document. So there are expanded emergency powers that are now conferred upon the city manager, but should a signature be needed, obviously it states that the mayor shall provide that role, which is our standard practice. In the mayor's absence, the mayor pro tem, and in the absence or unavailability of the mayor pro tem, simply listed the commissioners in alphabetical order so that they could be available for signature. And in essence, this is kind of a designated survivor type of documentation to provide who can sign and obligate the city in the event that a signature is needed and the city manager cannot do it absent some other assistance.
So you now have a summation of Municipal Order Number 03-17-01-2020. Is the summation sufficient for you all, or would you like me to read it?
That was good.
Yeah, I thought it sounded good.
Yeah.
Okay. That said, Chair will entertain a motion to accept Municipal Order Number 03-17-01-2020.
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Atkins. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Sears. Discussion. Seeing none, Chair will call the question. All in favor of the motion? Excuse me, Madam Clerk, we don't need a roll call on that, do we? It's a municipal order. Very good. We'll do a verbal vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. How do you want to handle this one, item 4, Mr. Dexter?
I can give you a quick summation of that one as well. Basically, this is the resolution that officially declares the state of emergency within the city of Danville. So a lot of the language that was used in the ordinance
Correct.
is repeated in the resolution and simply would be your official declaration of the emergency.
Do I hear a motion for the approval of resolution number 2020-03-17-01?
So moved.
Thank you,
Second.
Commissioner Terry. Thank you, Commissioner Cottle. Any discussion?
I would only add that this state of emergency will stay in effect, and the powers that are instituted and conferred upon the city manager will remain valid until the state of emergency is declared to be over by this body.
That
Okay.
declaration being by the governor of the state, or that it's over?
I would think you would act in conjunction with that, yes.
Oh, okay.
Any further comments? Seeing none, Chair will call the question. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Ordinance number 1947, and this is the second reading of ordinance number 1947 with respect to the insurance premium tax. To start the discussion, Madam Clerk, would you read the prelude to the ordinance, please?
This is the second reading of ordinance number 1947, an ordinance amending Chapter 16 Taxation, Article 3 License Tax on Insurance Companies of the Code of Ordinances for the City of Danville, Kentucky, to increase the percentage of tax payment that is required upon the issuance of insurance policies.
Now, with that read, do I hear a motion for ordinance number 1947, which will then put us in discussion?
I'll move the passage of the second reading of ordinance number 1947.
Thank you, Commissioner Atkins. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Terry. We are in discussion.
When was the deadline that this had to be done by?
There's a 100-day rule per Kentucky law, which is KRS 91A.080, and it's a 100-day before the July 1st effective date. So we have to actually have this published and on file with the state by March 23rd, 2020, which is Monday.
Which we could have done this Monday, but that would have put it very, very close. And with the uncertainty that we're in right now, we felt it best to go ahead and move on it today while we're all together.
Also, hadn't you canceled the meeting for Monday?
There is, until we feel confident we have guidance for online meetings and given the state of the emergency, we will not be having the Monday meeting. So until we are comfortable with guidance from the state, we are testing technology that would allow up to 250 people participate on an online meeting with only the commission talking unless we recognize the public. So once we get guidance from the state in conference with our city attorney, unless it is an emergency meeting, they will not be held.
It was
Okay.
kind of an unusual situation because I think there may have been some people who were going to come Monday maybe and speak to us about this. But given the second set of circumstances, which are really beyond our control, I don't know what else we could do at this point.
Mr. Milliron, do you anticipate success in establishing enough technology that we can very likely go ahead with Monday's meeting?
Not at this time. We haven't tested. The biggest issue is whether or not we can isolate the commission, make sure that you all have tested, that your faces are seen, because you all will be remote. You will not be in City Hall. So we will have to actually test that and then figure out then how to communicate, say, a GoToMeeting platform or another Microsoft platform that the public will be able to sort of raise their hand and participate. So we only signed up for this account, I believe it was late last week. And for instance, we've ordered webcams for us at City Hall, and we're told those webcams won't even get here till Friday. So we are very much trying to do what we can as quickly as we can, but we don't even have the technology yet. I don't even have that technology in my own office. So we're scrambling as quickly as we can to address this. I don't think anyone foresaw that we would be in this situation, even a week ago.
And while it's most possible that the Attorney General's office may provide some guidance, as you can well imagine, open meetings and open records compliance is not a top priority of the Commonwealth at this point. So while they will be somewhat reactive to the problems that are raised, and I know they're on their radar as far as a list of priorities during a state of emergency, this is on the list, but I would say not a front burner issue, which is why the conference of emergency powers today is so critical, frankly.
I mean, the reality is it's why we've been a lot more aggressive on making sure that not only are we publishing this on our Facebook at City Hall, but we've been publishing the agendas to social media just for that purpose. You, as commissioners, elected officials, may have gotten comments. I do know that no one in the administration has gotten any feedback on this particular topic. That doesn't mean that they don't have comments. Like I said, you all may have gotten individual comments, but we certainly haven't gotten any pushback. And if we had, as we do get comments, you do know that we forward those to the commission, and we haven't gotten any on this topic.
I appreciate your concern, Commissioner Caudell, and we do have some folks in attendance today, half of them being city employees, but I would ask the mayor to appease Commissioner Caudell's comments. If anybody that does want to make a comment that's here, allow them to do that. And there
I'm
may
open to
not be.
that.
Yeah.
Comment on the insurance tax?
Yeah.
Okay.
If there are no
Thank you.
comments, then Chair will call the question on the ordinance. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
I was going to ask.
Oh, excuse me?
I was going to ask Commissioner Cottle, just for an FYI, what some of the concerns were that you've been hearing, if you don't mind.
Just that it's more money. I mean,
Okay,
and
okay.
honestly, I haven't heard that many,
Okay.
but I've been here long enough to know that people usually don't come in until the finish line.
That's
So
right, yeah.
I was
That's
just,
Well, and
Preparing for that.
I'll take this opportunity to remind the public of the designation of these funds, which is going to go to our first responders.
I think that's helped keep some of the
Yeah.
concern down.
Yeah.
Call for the question.
Question's been called. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Yep.
Aye.
Pardon me?
Oh,
Oh, roll call, that's right.
Mayor Paris.
Yes.
Commissioner Saris.
Yes.
Commissioner Terry.
Yes.
Commissioner Caudle.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Atkins.
yes, ma'am.
I know that completes our formal business. I would like to remind the public that today at 10 o'clock, there will be a press conference composed of city representatives, county representatives, and that can be accessed either through our local radio or through YouTube. Just wanted to make the public aware that we are being as proactive as possible, thus a press conference.
And can we briefly state the City Hall hours and what the procedure is here?
City Hall is effectively closed at noon today to staff only. We will be in coordination with the county. We'll be activating an emergency operations center in the basement of this building for the purpose of this pandemic. We will be open to the public via telephone, email. We have contact us forms on our website at danvilleky.gov. We also, for utility payments, have drop payments here. We have proactively made sure that no additional utility cutoffs are occurring by the city. We've also proactively been running the routes and turning back on those utilities to anyone that's been disconnected in the height of this pandemic. So the city is doing what it can in order to protect those that will continue providing service to the public. We are in uncharted territory. This is an abundance of caution, but we have to keep our staff safe and healthy so that we can continue to keep the government in operation.
Thank you.
And Mayor, to that, I would only add this, that to my earlier comments about open meetings and things of that nature, I can only state that staff will work to manage in the spirit of the open records and meeting law to comply and act in as transparent a way so the public can view the development of public policy during a state of emergency, which is somewhat difficult and challenging. But by the ordinance that you enacted today and the emergency powers conferred upon the city manager, he will be the conduit of communication to business and the community. And we expect that communication to be high, and the staff will work in the transparency that is allowed and expected under the law. We're just in uncharted territories to figure out the best manner in which to do that.
If I may add to City Manager Mr. Milliron's comments, I think that's great. You know, we're taking care of that. Certainly, we have a lot of staff in the city that cannot be locked down. So I wish best safety for our police officers, fire department, and our public works people. And I know you do too, but you're focusing on the primary, working with the public.
Yes, and to that accord, there are specific guidelines that for obvious reasons we're not publishing, but we have a very high visibility police presence. However, there is protocols in place currently for police, fire, and 911 communications. Those were implemented and put into effect last week and then escalated yesterday in order to maintain their safety and well-being. And that is a coordinated effort with the county, the health department, and also state and federal authorities.
Any further comments to be made before we adjourn?
The bright note, happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, that's right.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made,
Give up my time.
seconded. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
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 Opposed, like sign. We are adjourned. Everyone be safe.